Namaste students. Welcome to the first English class. Now we are finished with our bridge course. We are starting today with the first regular class, and the first chapter in your reflection is The Gentlemen of the Jungle by Jomo Kenyatta. Now if I ask you, of course you are at home, I am over here. If I ask you what are the qualities of a gentleman, so you may say yes, he is a polite person, he is a confident person, he is kind, he is understanding, no, he is empathetic, and plus along with that we speak about the personality aspect also. He is fit, he is fine, he is healthy, and many things. So here if you say the gentleman of the jungle, you will say what is this gentleman doing in the jungle, right? So it's a very interesting story. We are going to start with it. Before that, we will just revise, or you can say we will just know about the author. The author, if you see, the author is Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta, if you listen to the name, it is not from India, it is from foreign country, yes, and he is from Africa. He is from Kenya, because Kenyatta. So here is the picture of Jomo Kenyatta. If you see, he was born in 1897. Now if you see, I have mentioned as 1897 in your book on page number 6, they have mentioned something as 1893, and there is a question mark. Why? Because these people, these generation, the parents were not at all eager or not at all interested to write down the date, day, year of the child when that particular child was born. So the birth year, the birth day is not clear to us, but yes, when he died it is clearly mentioned. It is 22nd August 1978. In your book they have mentioned as 1978, but let me add 22nd August 1978 he died. So if you see, was like, let's continue, was a Kenyan anti-colonial activist and politician who governed Kenya as its prime minister. He governed Kenya as prime minister for 1 year from 1963 to 64, and then as its first president from 1964 to his death in 1978. If you see in Africa, the continent Africa, there are small countries. So he served as a prime minister for 1 year in Kenya, as well as later on, of course, he was the first president of Kenya. So now let's see what he has to convey through the story. Of course, it's very interesting. The story is very interesting. Before that, let's see the background of the story. Before that, let's see about him also, more about him. He was the country's first indigenous head of government and played a significant role in the transformation of Kenya from a colony of the British Empire into an independent republic. Don't you think somewhere his story matches with the story of our freedom fighters? Even he was a freedom fighter. Even Kenya was ruled by the foreign countries. We are going to read about it in detail. He did his best to get his country the independence. And yes, of course, he was successful in that. That is what is mentioned over here. He was an anti-colonist. He was a politician, and he tried, what is that, to transform Kenya from a colonial empire into an independent country. This you know, almost the Asian countries and even Africa, if you know about the past, again I am speaking about history, we have learned that these countries were ruled by the foreign you can say, countries. Now, which are those foreign countries? In India, you are well aware. Let's see, in Africa, which are the foreign countries? They came in Africa, they occupied the territories in Africa, and then they started ruling Africa. By 1900, most of Africa had been colonized by 7 European powers, which include Britain, France, Germany, Belgium, Spain, Portugal and Italy. Now if you see, from this we are familiar with Britain, France, Spain and Portugal, because even these powers, they entered India. If you remember, the first person to come to India was Vasco da Gama. They ruled India for many years. Of course, the most dominating country to rule India was British. Even Portuguese were there, French people were there, Spanish people were there. They were ruling in different patches in India. Same, you can say same history what Africa has suffered. We also have suffered the same history. So that is what it says. It was ruled by 7 European powers. The Gentleman of the Jungle is a political fable. Now you all know, you are well aware what is a fable. Fable is nothing else but a story form where we try to implement, we try to teach students or children morals. And those morals are taught by, you can say, personifying animals as characters. You have Panchantantras, you have different fables where you have heard, best part is when you were small, you had a story called A Thirsty Crow, which tells about the cleverness of a thirsty crow, how he gets a pot of water, how the water is at the base, how he puts pebbles into the water, into that pot, how the water comes up and how he drinks the water. And that same version now it has changed because we are in the modern generation. That version has changed. In the story, if you have listened, if you have learned, what happens? The crow is smart enough. It doesn't try to bring pebbles. It just goes in search of a straw, brings a straw and drinks the water which is at the base of the pot. So this sort of changes are there. Why animals were used? Because kids are much more attached to animals. They love animals. So even in this particular African country, in Kenya, there is a tribe. Of course, I am going to mention about it. The tribe is Kikuyu. This particular writer, Jomo Kenyatta, belongs to this particular tribe where they had a tradition. The entire day, the parents used to go out and work. In the evening, at night, especially grandmothers or the parents, they used to, or the entire family used to sit together and each member has to narrate a story. The main intention of narrating a story is to teach moral values to the next generation. Easiest way, best way, right? Now, they were not having physics, maths and sciences and all these things to study. They were learning life skills through stories. So, Kikuyu fable. Okay, so let's see. The Gentleman of the Jungle is a political fable as it raises controversial issues in modern society. Kenyatta made a reference to this conflict when he said that the relations between Kikuyu and the Europeans can be well illustrated by this Kikuyu story. So here in this story you have animals narrating, or you can say depicting, the situation of the countries, those who were ruled by foreign countries. India was also one among the countries which was ruled by British, by even for few days Portugal also was there only. Portuguese people, they were ruling Goa. Recently in 1961 they got independence. If you know, Goa celebrates 2 days of independence. One is 15th of August when entire India got independence, and the second one is 19th of December. In 1961 it got liberated from Portugal. So the same way, let's see. As the story proceeds, you will get to know that the story matches with the Indian history too. So somewhere here and there when I am explaining, I will be connecting our situation with the Africans situation when Britishers or when the 7 European nations were ruling their country. Okay. So the title refers to the British gentleman who always plays fair and who is just and has moral integrity. The contrast between this and the jungle is that of primitiveness and lack of social and political development. If you see the European nations, they consider themselves to be highly developed. When they came here, they tried their best to tell that you are inferior, you don't know anything, you are foolish people, and that feeling is still going on, it's still there in our minds. The implication is an imbalance between the terms where one is superior and the other is inferior. Now till now I have shown you slides. I want you to take your textbook. I am going to read each and every word. We are going to go very, very slow. Today I will be just taking 3 pages, that is the page number 1, 2 and 3. We will go slowly, try try to understand this particular story. Before that, let's start with the pre-reading activity. Narrate a story from the Panchatantra where good prevails over evil. Now you have heard not only Panchatantra but many stories from your grandparents, from your parents. So you have to just recall any one story where you have learned where good, actually what happens is prevailing and the evil gets destroyed, because something is connected to this particular story. So let's begin. In the late 19th century, the chief European powers divided Africa among themselves. Let's see what in India, it is not in 19th century. Before that, you can say, when Industrial Revolution took place, the European nations, in search of markets and raw materials, they started expansion of their powers, expansion of their roots, of their connections to various countries in the eastern side. But in India, you know what was the situation, why it came to India, where the people went in search of India. They went to America when new land was you can say discovered, all such things we know. They had come to India before that. Let's see about Africa also. They could do this because European arms were superior and because the African chiefs did not understand the meaning of the treaties they were asked to sign. Let's take the example of India, because we don't know about the history of Africa. We don't know what treaties the African chiefs have signed. But in India, we are well aware of the subsidiary alliance, which was started by Lord Wellesley, and if you remember, doctrine of lapse, which was started by Lord Dalhousie, right? So we'll just take example of these two treaties. These two treaties, the princes over here, the kings over here, they were asked to sign. The main intention of the Britishers was to annex the lands, to annex the territory. In the same way, the African chiefs, they don't know what treaties they are signing. And always this foreign country, European nations, they showed that they are always superior and whatever they are doing is for their good only. So you just sign, and the Africans, main thing is about the language. The Europeans, they had their own language. Africans, they had their own language. The main thing is about the language. So language brought a big gap where one party was not able to understand what was the intention of the other party, or with what intention they are doing all these things. So in this case, it's quite natural, the one which is superior, the one which is dominating will always dominate the other party. Same thing happened in America also, if you remember. The origins of America, where they are scattered everywhere in the world now. Luckily, Indians are here itself. They are attached to their motherland, of course, only for the sake of education and for job purposes. They are spread everywhere, but they are not settling over there. Few people, they come back once their job or once their education is done, because they know India is a safe place. It's their own land to spend their old age and to die over here. So let's come back to time now here. As a result, Africans lost the lands they had traditionally lived on and cultivated. Same thing happened in India also, if you see. India's main occupation was agriculture. There were arts, there was craft, there were artisans also here, and everyone's job was completely, you can say, it was taken away, or the lands, if you remember, they had brought their own crops. Wheat is not the crop which was grown in India. You have this peanuts, groundnuts was not the crop grown in India. Tomato was not the crop grown in India. So they brought their crop, and best example I can give you is indigo. Indigo is a cash crop. The Indians were forced to plant indigo and then pay indigo as rent. If you remember, if you remember over the past. So here it's same thing happened. They lost the lands they lived and cultivated, because these European nations, they took the land from Africans by various treaties, by various means. Their attitude toward European expansion is made clear in the following fable, which reflects the attitude of the Kikuyu people of Kenya toward European laws and commissions. So as I told you, this particular story, it narrates the situation or condition of the Africans Here you have the gentlemen of the jungle. They are none other but the animals, and you have a man which represents Africa. Jungle animals represent these European nations, and man represents Africa, Africans. So the story begins on page number 2. Here I have just a comic picture of the story. You need not read this, just for some, like, the lesson should not be boring. So I have this particular picture in front of you. We'll go as per the page, not as per these blocks. Okay. So once upon a time, an elephant made a friendship with a man. Here, as I told you, elephant represents European nation and man represents African person. So, once upon a time an elephant made a friendship with man. If you remember, once upon a time Europeans came to our nation, our country, our place, and they made friendship with us. Okay? One day a heavy thunderstorm broke out. The elephant went to his friend who had a little hut at the edge of a forest and said to him, "My dear good man, will you please let me put your trunk inside your hut to keep it out of this torrential rain?" So it's a simple question asked by the elephant to the man. Will you please help me, because outside what is there? Heavy rain, thunderstorm is there, and I am really scared. I am not that strong enough. I am very, very delicate. Can I keep my trunk in your hut? Man was having a small hut at the edge of the forest. If you compare the situation, take it as Indians or take it as Africans, they had their own land. They were living their own life. The Europeans came in, they entered, and they had requested to start trade. If you remember, in India we had British East India Company, French East India Company. Same day in Africa also, the 7 nations, they had requested for trade. So they came as traders and started ruling us. Same thing happened here with the man actually. So when he requested, can he just keep his trunk? He is not asking for the entire hut, or he is not asking, shall I enter inside the hut? He says, just my trunk. The man, seeing what situation his friend was in, replied, "My dear good elephant, my hut is very small, but there is room for your trunk and myself. Please put your trunk in gently." In the case of Indians, Atiti Devo Bhava. Of course, if they are requesting, and if of course it's not harming anyone, yes, you can come to India, you can start your trade. In the same way, this particular man, African man, he felt, yes, my friend is in danger, he needs my help. How much possible, yes, I will help him. Though I have a small hut, yes, there is small space for his trunk and for me. So why he is asking only for a small space for a trunk? Yes, why can't I allow? So he allows. He says, yes, I have small space for your trunk and for me. So you can keep your trunk inside my hut. The elephant thanked his friend, saying, "You have done me a good deed, and one day I shall return your kindness." This is a common dialogue when someone helps us. When they are helping, we say this, but later on we forget it, to repay it back. In the same way, elephant also. But what followed? It's a question mark. But what followed? As soon as the elephant put his trunk inside the hut, slowly he pushed his head inside and finally flung the man out in the rain, and then lay down comfortably inside his friend's hut, saying, "My dear good friend, your skin is harder than mine, and as there is not enough room for both of us, you can afford to remain in the rain while I am protecting my delicate skin from the hailstorm." Same thing happened with the Indians or with the Africans. They allowed the European nations to start the trade, and slowly if you see, the European nations took interest in the politics of Africa and the politics of India, and slowly what happened? they became the rulers. Same way here, the elephant slowly pushed the man outside and he occupied the entire hut of the man. Are you getting it? What is the connection? It's a beautiful story which tells in a very simple word about the situation of the Africans in those days or about the Indians in those days. The man, seeing what his friend had done to him, started to grumble. The animals in the nearby forest heard the noise and came to see what was the matter. All stood around listening to the heated argument between the man and his friend the elephant. In this turmoil, the lion came along roaring and said in loud voice, "Don't you all know what I am don't you all know that I am the king of the jungle? How dare anyone disturb the peace of my kingdom?" In this case, let's take lion as the lord or the viceroy. So here when the argument is heated, when the argument is going on between the man and the elephant, there is disturbance and all the animals they come and they stand there watching what is going on between these two people. So by the grumbling sound and all these things, the lion, the viceroy, the lord comes and he asks, "What is the matter, my dear? Why are you both quarreling? Why there is a turmoil?" Turmoil is what? Disturbance. You all should know that I am the king of the jungle, and as for the king of the jungle, I want peace in my jungle. That is what he is inquiring. On hearing this, the elephant, who was one of the high ministers in the jungle kingdom, replied in a soothing voice and said, "My lord, there is no disturbance of the peace in your kingdom. I have only been having a little discussion with my friend here as to the possession of this little hut which your lordship sees me occupying." Many of the incidents which happen in India or in Africa, actual thing was not being presented to the Queen in England or to the Lord or by the Lords. What happened over here is elephant is taking the lead now. He is coming forward in a very soothing voice, in a very calm and quiet voice. He is explaining that, "My lord, there is no problem. We have just a small discussion about the hut which you see at present I am occupying." If you remember about the Jallianwala Bagh incident 1919 in India, no, thousands of people were massacred by Lord Dyer. What happened to him when he went back? What he said? What was his version of giving explanation to what he did in India? I hope you are getting it. So here elephant is trying to be very calm and quiet, and he is telling the situation in his version that no problem, nothing is nothing disturbance over here. We are just having a small discussion. Here you can just have a look. Elephant asking for help. Man is being pushed out of the hut. Lion, he asks what is going on. What is the disturbance going on? Okay. So on hearing this, fine. Page number 3, last page. Lion, who wanted to have peace and tranquility in his kingdom, replied in a noble voice saying, "I command my ministers to appoint a commission of inquiry to go thoroughly into this matter and report accordingly." If you remember, the Britishers did always the same thing. If you have this International Congress, which was I think established in something 1885 by A.O. Hume. So what was the intention? Let the Indians, now of course Polish they are getting angry. Let the Indians present their agitation in a written form or in a polite way. We will discuss about the matter. We will have a commission. We will discuss and then we will give the justice, or then we will give the answer. Same thing over here. The lion, what he is saying that, "Don't worry, my dear man. Let me form a commission of inquiry. I am going to form let's have a commission of inquiry. Let the discussion go on, and of course, don't worry, you will be given justice. You have done well." He then turned to the man and said, "You have done well by establishing my people, especially with the elephant, who is one of my honorable ministers of state. Do not grumble anymore. Your hut is not lost to you. Wait until the sitting of my imperial commission, and there you will be given plenty of opportunity to state your case. If you remember, the first roundtable conference, the second roundtable conference, when it was commissioned, when it was set, Indians were told that your representatives will be called, and who was called was only one man, Mahatma Gandhi. And even when he went, he was not given the chance to speak. Same thing, or you can just relate this particular situation over there. Here he is giving assurance that a commission of inquiry will be formed, and you will be called, you will be given chance to present your side, your situation also. I am sure that you will be pleased with the findings of the commission. The man was very pleased by these sweet words from the king of the jungle and innocently waited for his opportunity in the belief that naturally the hut would be returned to him. Even in India, we had many of the commissions were there, and in all those commissions, they were just given assurance that don't worry, whatever your demands are will be fulfilled, but those demands were never fulfilled. Same thing happened with the man over here. He waited for his chance, for his opportunity to speak in front of the commission, or when the commission is formed, they will call me, I will get justice, I will get my hut back. With this hope, innocently he agreed to whatever the king of the jungle told him that. If you see over here, yes, here. King is there, elephant and the man. That is what is the commission is brought. Let us see who are the members of the committee. The elephant, obeying the command of his master, got busy with other ministers to appoint the commission of inquiry. Who is supposed to appoint the commission of ministers, and who is appointing over here? The culprit, the one who has done injustice on the man, he himself is calling the ministers. He is appointing a commission who will be discussing about this matter, and you can just imagine what will be the conclusion. The following elders of the jungle were appointed to sit in the commission. Mr. Rhinoceros, of course rhinoceros is one of the European nation. Mr. Buffalo, European. Mr. Alligator, and the Right Honorable Mr. Fox to act as chairman. Okay. And Mr. Leopard to act as secretary to the commission. On seeing the personnel, the man protested. If you remember, same thing happened with Gandhi also. Only one man as a representative of India was called. All the ministers were from India. So here the man protested. How come you are forming